G'day, Ken Potter's my name, and I've been doing some research on this carbon tax. It's a situation that's vexed, meaning much debated, and if you rely on the mainstream media, well, you're not going to be very well informed. So my purpose in writing the poem and reciting it to you is to get you to do some independent research on the internet. I called the poem Who the Flock Needs to Know. The science is in, Queen Julia proclaimed to her flock. We'll tax those 500 polluters, we'll give them a shock. There'll be some compensation, but under my government, a carbon tax you must have, and it will be permanent. But all of the black sheep were worried about Queen Julia. And then someone decreed that she was in fact a liar. A week before the election, she said, no carbon tax. Then came Oakeshott and Brown and other political acts. It seems Julia, as Queen, cannot rule in her own right. She's in bed with those minorities, sleepless all the night. And if she gets some good idea, they move to muck it up. Our leadership is a horse race. Don't bet on the Queen's Cup. Our brown coal-fired power stations will be put to the sword with poor alternative, though political points are scored. For with green power stations, we might as well live in caves, waiting for sunrise and wind on our way to early graves. The Greens won't allow nuclear. Dams for hydro are out, and nothing will be held sacred in their unholy rout. They are against industry, and that means that jobs will go. The world will punish us as economy starts to slow. The Greens, in their fight with carbon dioxide, will be pleased. The rest of us, in cold candlelight, will not be appeased. The world will shake its head in disbelief and with dismay at what resource-rich Australia is to throw away. When persecuted companies take their business overseas, when you can't walk around the place for all the flaming trees, when the coal is left in the ground for someone else to take, then Australia will taste this green, unpalatable cake. When all our old customers buy energy somewhere else, when you should have stood against this tax, but don't blame yourself. When you think back to the Australia that once had been, then you'll know, my laid-back friends, the true price of being green. The media has a role. That's always been self-serving, but now it's time to ditch them. They really are deserving. Very limited coverage, and the box, it numbs the mind. So get onto the internet and see what else you find. I went on the internet and typed in climate science, and I found their mood to be one of complete defiance. Their once respected discipline trashed by IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, you see. Spin doctors and dodgy science mingled with corruption. I was interested, so I thought I'd take some instruction. I read and read and read, and the opinion came about. I won't be told how to live by someone I can't vote out. Cold shiver of winter, hot sweat in summer, all for what? The loss of jobs and living standards effectively shot. The 8 years of pain will reduce our temperature plenty. Just 1/1000th of 1 degree by 2020. If you're a member of the flock in this climate debate, swept along by a torrent of junk science which won't abate, look at the case of the A-train satellites if you doubt. What? You haven't heard of them? Google it and you'll find out. For data from them will turn climate models on their head. The predictions are not so dire, something the Greens will dread. But modellers take their temperatures from earth-bound locations because exact data will not suit their aspirations. I'm for doing something, but it must be realistic. This one-sided green debate is not at all holistic. The media, caring souls, they take us for a ride. In their smoke and mirrors, we wonder where the truth might hide. For nuclear has its merits, but not down by the sea. All the land in Australia, the last place they need to be. And all those solar panels, I suppose they'll be all right, soon as Bob Brown legislates for the sun to shine at night. A question for you, Julia, midst wet ink of these carbon laws. 1100 pages in print. You own it. It's yours. My question goes to the future, as it's often vexed. If this tax is what you would not do, what will you do next? Election now, my friend.